All right. Welcome to the NorCal Sports Network and the Krug Show as we simulcast opening day as the Giants pull it off in the bottom of the ninth with a exciting play at the plate. 3-2 victory. The Giants pull it off as Thairo Estrada hits one into the left center field gap, and Matt Chapman, chugging all the way around, didn't hesitate, which is a veteran move. He saw the ball was gonna land, and he didn't stop, and he needed every step he took to make it. But what a ball game, guys. Welcome, NorCal Sports Network and Krug Show together.
Giants win. Man, what a fun day at the yard. I mean, it's funny. I'm out here in the East Bay. It is downpouring right now.
Oh, wow.
And yet it was a beautiful afternoon along McCovey Cove there, right there on the south side of the Bay Bridge. And the Giants, fell behind 1-0 on the Cronenworth RBI single, and then tied it up on the Conforto double that scored Jung-Hoo Lee, who had walked. And then Conforto gets picked off.
Huh.
And you're thinking, oh my goodness. Fernando Tatis then had an RBI single to score Bogaerts to make it 2-1. Chapman's fielder's choice in the sixth tied it. And the Giants, I mean, that pitch that the reliever threw to Chapman, I played one, right after college. I played in an adult, I think it was 25 and over baseball league. And I one time got hit right on the tricep on a pitch. And you're flexed, right? Because your arm's bent. But man, it hurts like a mother. And it's like you could see the look on his face. These guys don't show a lot of pain. But man, that hurt a ton, and he's not rubbing it. He's standing there at first base, and then credit Matt Williams, Lamont Wade, or I should say, Estrada hits one in the gap, and Williams did not hesitate. And I think it was a smart move, guys, because the Giants were 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position, and there was no guarantee they would get that run in. Williams sends in Chapman. He slides in just under the tag, and the Giants escape with a 3-2 win in the home opener. And it was weird because it was kind of like a game I feel like I've seen in the home opener several times in the past. Kind of a low-scoring pitcher's duel, a lot of pageantry,
walk-off.
And then a bottom of the ninth, one-run walk-off.
Yeah, we saw they did it earlier. Showed a highlight of Barry hitting one out one year in the ninth inning. Man, they showed the picture of Barry Bonds. In fact, I put the tweet out on it. I'd rather have that guy seriously in the lineup than reset his Hall of Fame clock and put him out there, put him at DH, and put Soler in right field and get rid of Yaz. I mean, wouldn't you rather see Bonds at the plate than Yaz? I mean, I think
I'd rather see you at the plate than Yaz. I'd rather see Matos at the plate than Yaz.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness.
Hey,
we get on the Slaz brothers. I'll say this: Slater did one really good thing today, and it went unnoticed. He got down on his stomach, I believe, to make Chapman dive because he was in position. The runner's always looking for help. Does he slide around the bag toward the back end of the bag? Does he Slater was down, get down, dive. So if he didn't dive, I think he's out, if he just did a regular slide.
I thought you were going to say he retrieved that Nerf football.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, probably the exciting part of the day before was the punt by Mitch Wisnowski into McCovey Cove.
That was a little bit weird.
It's like, it is a little weird to see a guy punt it, but I would have liked to seen him try to punt it from first base. I don't know if he could have made it. I guess probably would have been pretty close. I mean, what is a 60-yard? Is that 180 feet? Yeah.
Yes.
So 60 yards, 180 feet. That would be pushing it. Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, how about the Fred Warner, Debo Samuel throwing out the first pitch? I mean, neither. I mean, I guess Debo got it there. Warner's was really wild. Did you see that?
I heard him talk about it on the broadcast.
I did not get the
super
pregame
wild
stuff with MLB Network. I've got I didn't get the feed. They don't turn it on until like 3-4 minutes before the game starts. But overall, I don't know. I guess it was close to a sellout, which is good. It's always nice to see opening day, full crowd. The question is going to be how's it look next week when Washington comes in on a Monday night during April when it's
Monday night
cold.
might bring people. Snell's going to pitch, so that he.
Monday night Snell, yeah. But Tuesday night, that's a rough week. But hey, the Giants they played really good baseball today. The only thing that was I could say that they did wrong was the Hicks throw into left center field when he had a double play. And Yaz, how many times did he strike out? 2 or 3?
Twice.
He got up twice and he struck out twice, right?
Yeah.
Slater pinch hit for him in his third at bat.
Yep.
I mean, this is getting to be like a broken record. It's
and base running too, Dan. Don't forget base running.
Oh yeah, Conforto. Yeah,
that
reminded me of my play in Little League when I thought I saw a hot dog wrap, a baseball behind and I took off running for home, and on a pass ball, I thought the catcher went back and snagged he was mad and he left the ball there, but it was a white hot dog wrapper, and I ran right into the tag like Conforto did today.
There were a couple of things that, they say if you go to the game every day, you'll see something you never seen, or you'll see something you haven't seen in a long time, that kind of thing. What did you guys think of the ridiculous quick pitch to Soler?
Oh, yeah. That was crazy. I mean, he got the ball back and he was straight to the plate again.
Soler looked so pissed, and then he took a monumental swing on the next ball, and he skied it, and Profar caught it. But I off the bat I thought it's gone.
Oh yeah, that would have been the ultimate payback.
And then the other thing that you don't see much, Dylan Cease struck out or fouled the ball into his face.
Oh yeah, he fouled. Tipped it actually.
Foul tipped it into his face.
Yeah.
Oh no, that was Pauly. That was Pauly.
Pauly, yeah.
Was that Pauly?
Yeah, against Duvall.
Yeah, it wasn't Cease. It was Pauly. Yeah, right.
Yeah, he hit his shoulder and then it hit his head, and he struck out.
He actually foul tipped it, but it's not a reviewable. I heard it. I could hear the foul tip. I'm surprised that usually the home umpire picks up on that.
Not a lot of offense here. 5 hits for the Giants, 6 hits for the Padres. I don't believe in looking at the stats, good or bad, until like middle of May. Yeah. But it's funny, it's like people were hailing Jung-Hoo Lee. He's a superstar, and I think he'll be pretty good. He got a walk today, but he's hitting 226. I mean, it's not. It's like it's early. But it's like you look at some of these averages: Slater 0, Yaz 0, Nick Ahmed now 208, and Jung-Hoo at 226. But the Giants are going to have to. They're going to have. I kind of like the addition of Ahmed and Chapman from the standpoint they're going to have to play clean games. They're not going to be able to kick it around. They're not going to be able to. They're not good enough offensively to absorb like the bad focus inning where you give away 3 runs. They're just not that kind of club. They're not going to be able to slug their way back in. So it's really important that they play well defensively. And between Lee in center and a full year of Bailey behind the plate, and then Chapman and Ahmed on the left side, they really should have a much upgraded defensive club this year. Which
they look good defensively. I'll say this when it comes to I know it is early, and I read a article, Twitter, Dave from the Chronicle. I wanted to quote him and say it's a little. I know he said he prefaced it with saying it's way too early, but he said Lee may be the superstar since Posey, and I'm going to say superstar. I don't see him as a superstar. I see Jung-Hoo Lee as a potential all-star potential. But one of the concerns that I had,
even that is
yeah,
very premature.
yeah,
I mean,
one of the things I am concerned about was the scouting report coming out of Korea was that he hits a lot of ground balls
right
in the infield, and I've seen it now about 4 or 5 of his last at bats, just slow choppers, and I mean that's going to happen, but I just hope it doesn't become a pattern, because he's jumping on pitches early, and it could, he's seeing pitches he likes. I mean, we saw Casey Schmidt come up last year and rake the first couple of weeks, and we thought, oh my gosh, this guy's going to be the greatest hitter. What happens is people adjust. So we'll see. I think Lee's going to have his ups and downs. Overall, though, I think he'll be a pretty good hitter. I just don't see him as anywhere near a superstar like Dave was talking about. We bring in.
I mean, we hope he's a superstar.
Yeah,
it'd be
great. Nice. I hope he's just more of a, an all-star type hitter. Not a, if he hits anything over 280, I think it's good in today's game. We bring in the man, Los.
Hey, boys.
What's up, Los?
What's up?
Winner, sushi dinner.
Sushi dinner, not a chicken dinner, huh?
I'm having, anybody says chicken, I'm having sushi tonight. So
nice.
I throw that out there.
So but overall though, I think Giants are now 3-5. It's a long season. You just don't want to get buried early.
Right.
And today would have been a really tough loss because they would have been 2-6, and then you start questioning yourself a little bit, like, if you lost the game in a difficult fashion. But Jordan Hicks and his pitching, wow, he went 7 full innings, right?
Yes, he did.
That's impressive for a guy who did not get through the 5th inning, or get into the 5th inning, but once in his first 8 starts
True.
in St. Louis. He's now gone, I believe, 6 in the first game in San Diego. And
no, he went 5. I thought
he went 5.
Yeah.
He only went 5, and
he only went 5.
Okay, went 7 today, but looking good. So I mean, Farhan looks pretty good on that one so far. Again, it's early, but nice to see Jordan Hicks hold him down, and
he's nasty.
He
nasty.
Really is.
Yes.
Especially with that third pitch. To me, if you said, I still think Jordan Hicks, if the Giants are going to be a championship team, he's probably your 8th inning guy, on a championship team. But the third pitch makes you wonder if he could have success all year as a starter. He's probably going to be kind of a low inning starter, but every team has questions on how the season's going to go. The one thing about the Giants that's different this year than most years is they've got Cobb and Ray in reserve coming back mid-year. Those are 2 pretty good pitchers coming back mid-year. And you've got 2 guys in Gwynn and Hicks that if you did put them in your bullpen, you might have a killer pen.
Yes.
I mean, you might have an overwhelming type pen and turn it into a 7-inning game. So we talked about it the other night. A score like today is a good indication of, the Giants' issues. They can win 3-2. They can win 2-1. They can win 4-3. Can they win 7-6? Can they win 9-8? Can they win 10-9? I don't know. But today was a game that was played on their terms, low scoring game, and they found a way to win it. And to me, their ability to keep their head above water this year is going to be kind of predicated on, can they win the winnable games like today? And they did.
Yeah. You mentioned the 8-7, 10-9 game. I think the Cubbies today took down the Dodgers 9-7 or 10.
Yeah.
Was it 9-7? I think it was 9-7, something like that. But yeah, that's the games. How you have to beat the Dodgers. You have to, and that's the issue. Why the Giants weren't able to win in LA is, LA has now scored 5 runs or more in every game they played.
Every game they've played.
And I think it's the 5th time it's been done in Major League history, baseball history, that a team has opened up with its first. What's their record now? Dodgers are 7-3. First 10 games, 5 runs scored. Now
their 1-2-3 is so lethal.
I think we went 10 games last year where the Giants didn't get 5 runs combined.
Yeah.
I'm serious. Remember, they were just getting 1 run a game, 0.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Guys, what do you think about if Hicks keeps performing like this as a starter, 6-7 solid innings almost every time out, and then these guys start coming back? How do you go? I mean, it's a good problem to have, let's be real. But how do you tell him, you got to go to the bullpen? Like, if he's doing his job as a starter. I think that's
I don't think you do, as long as he's feeling okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, we've been talking about him going to the bullpen, but we can't automatically think, Cobb's going to – I know what Snell's going to do, but we can't just expect Cobb to come back and start dealing right away. He may not. And
a lot of it's about Harrison, too.
Harrison is a good point. Yes.
Yeah.
Cobb has got some elbow issues now, and it's more than likely has to do with he came out and was probably
pushing a little bit too hard.
Pushing and also that hip, just a little bit of slight adjustment to the hip, maybe trying to avoid landing on it a certain way. Maybe his mechanics changed a little bit. Now all of a sudden he's come up with a
bad arm,
elbow pain. So, I think they were kind of rushing him because he was trying to avoid the 60-day, and I guess they could put him on the 60 if they think it's going to be longer and open up a roster spot.
But
right?
He's taking up a roster spot right now, right?
Well, if you put him on the 60, he comes off the 40 and it opens up another spot. But
they can backdate that. Can't they backdate that?
Yeah, they can backdate it to the opening day because he hasn't played. So,
I mean, the plan is, as we know, to put Cobb and Ray in the rotation. But we all know, we've all been watching baseball long enough to know that things don't always go as planned.
Correct.
It might be a situation where Cobb never makes it back this year because of whatever reason. But on the other hand, Carson Whisenhunt, just dials it up in the minor leagues and kind of forces their hand, as far as promoting him in the middle of the year. So you never really know how it's going to actually go once the games start. That's kind of the exciting part. What you got to do is you just got to give yourself a few options, right? A few options to be like, and they have a few options right now. So it's, and the same thing in the outfield. It's like, Farhan's plan was for Yaz and Slater, but you know what? Yaz may be done, and he may be DFA'd by May 1st, and all of a sudden you're looking at, some outfield acquisition or some minor leaguer. I know nobody wants to hear this because it's like a broken record, but I saw highlights last night of Elliot Ramos hitting the ball really hard in the minor leagues. And I just keep wondering to myself, why can't they give that guy 3 weeks? I'm not saying half a year. I'm not saying, dedicate the 2024 campaign to Elliot Ramos, I'm talking about 3 weeks. 3 weeks. Would it really kill the
20
Giants?
games,
Yeah, would it kill the Giants to put
8 at bats.
Elliot Ramos in the outfield for 3 weeks and see if he could stay afloat or get it rolling? I mean, the guy's putting a charge into the ball at about 110 miles an hour in the minor leagues. His swing looks solid to me. I mean, I know he's not getting the results when he's up here, but I mean, if you're going to let Yaz go a month, let's say, doing nothing, why couldn't you allow Ramos, who
Great
seemingly
point.
has more power, more potential, more of a future? Why can't he get, that same look? I don't get it.
And it's funny because what did Farhan say at the end of the season? Oh, I wish I gave Ramos a better look. Now you had a chance to do it this season. And then what does he do? He says, Conforto and Yaz are going to be our outfield, or Conforto, Yaz, and Lee are going to be our outfielders before even spring training started. So there's not even a competition. You're basically giving Yaz that the nod before he can even prove himself. But yeah, you just said, I wish Ramos had a better run. It just doesn't make sense. He should be the next man up just to see what you have.
Right. And Ramos right now, or Yaz, is 0 for 9 with 5 Ks. Not looking comfortable at all up there. How long do you think the Giants give him?
He could be 0 for 30, and they're going to keep running out there. I'm serious.
I think
the leash they give for veterans is so damn long, and it's a tiny little wick for the young guys.
I think with each at bat, though, I think with each at bat that he doesn't get a hit, the pressure rises because it's starting to be
something. It's starting to be something. It's
right. People are talking about it all. It's not just us. I mean, I'm seeing it throughout social media. People are tired of seeing the Yaz thing. It's not like it's all of a sudden either. This has been going on for 2 years.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I love Rothberg, by the way. I've missed my Rothberg.
Oh.
Hello, SF Giants world. This giant win indicative of how great this team is.
That's Robert.
They're 3-5, Robert. They're 3-5.
We need that positivity every once in a while. It's good.
Robert Rothberg. Playoffs. Yes. Rothberg. The Giants are not conceding anything to the Dodgers.
That's
Robert. They're almost mathematically eliminated. I mean, it's just the guy.
I didn't hear this, but he's quoting Dave Fleming is actually saying the org doesn't have much patience for Yaz and Slater.
Yeah,
they've already demonstrated an inordinate amount of patience.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Come on.
yes.
Stop pulling our leg.
I mean,
And Bob Melvin was talking pregame about the great Sean Hajeli ramping it up so he can make his triumphant return to the roster. So there's another one that none of us want, but somehow they do. Go figure.
Yeah, I think he'd be better maybe as a backup to Looney, Trace Jackson Davis and Looney. The Warriors could use a 6'11" guy more than the Giants can.
I mean,
Jeez.
It's pretty obvious when you watch this Giant team, eventually, I mean, I heard Wotus in the pregame talking about, getting Luciano, up here and he can really hit and this and that. So, I mean, it's obvious, and they're using him at short and second, and Wotus was like, hey, keep him at short. That's where the need is. But you can look around the diamond in between, Bailey and Tyro and maybe Luciano and maybe Schmidt and obviously Chapman. There's guys there. You know what I mean? And the rotation, it's not like the Giants rotation is like, what? It's one of the better looking rotations. It may not be the best, but it looks good. And you look at those bullpen arms with Doval closing at the end, and you're like, you know what? Okay. Where the Giants, where you scratch your head and go, what is in the outfield?
Mm-hmm.
That's where they're like, what's going on now?
Although
Conforto's hitting 419. He had 3 hits today. He's hitting the ball hard. So Conforto's giving them a guy. But it's some of the guys that they float out there in their outfield. I mean, you look at San Diego, they got Tatis, and it's like they got Profar. You look at LA, they had all kinds of outfielders. The Giants could use that one more outfielder, but you know what? It's not impossible to get one outfielder. And let's see what it looks like in a month. But I hope that they don't show crazy patience for Yaz and Slater, because there's no real reason to show a crazy amount of patience for those guys.
No, not at all. You've already moved off of Brandon Crawford, Brandon Belt. You didn't show patience for those guys. You said, okay, enough's enough. We're moving on. I don't get the infatuation with Yaz. Like Larry says, does he have something on Farhan? Does he got pictures or what? Because I just don't see it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you got Luis Matos, you got Elliot Ramos that I would much rather see come up to the plate and at least gives you an opportunity to do something other than hit a lazy pop-up or striking out. I just don't see Yaz being the guy. And I'm sure he'll get into one here and there. If he plays long enough, he's gonna hit one out and everybody's gonna go, I see you, told you. How about that? It's like, yeah, one at bat. Okay. But really,
if Lee and Conforto can swing it, that will it will kind of isolate Yaz and Slater.
Right.
But it will also kind of keep the Giants afloat while Yaz and Slater, while they're figuring out what's next post Yaz, post Slater. So I'm kind of hoping Conforto and Lee, really have hot Aprils so that if it won't be such a glaring weakness.
I mean, there's other options they could do. They could stick Soler out in right field and make Wilmer the DH if they wanted to have a more at bat, a presence.
How about just Wade Meckler? How about just Wade Meckler and Matos up and those guys gone?
Yeah. I don't understand. Yeah.
I mean, that right there could be the solution. That's an internal solution.
I know Farhan didn't draft Ramos, but did he draft Matos?
Nope.
No.
Okay, so that falls into the elephant in the room that we talk about once in a while, is the politics of the game. Farhan didn't draft these guys. Farhan did get Yaz, so that's his little baby. And like I always say, like if you're putting your personal accomplishments above the importance of the team and the team winning, that's a problem. So let's lose the politics. Bring up the best guys and play them. Period.
Yeah. Ron Raquel says, hi, Dan and Eric. A nice home opener victory. I met Larry at Mardi Gras last night. A great guy. Look at that. A great guy.
Look at that.
Wow. That Larry that you met not a great guy by any stretch, but it was great meeting you. And Marty had quite the shindig last night. My goodness. At Original Joe's in North Beach. Nice. 150 people sitting there dining.
Wow.
3-star or 3-course meal. And Marty,
did Marty pick up the tab for the whole?
Yes.
He did.
Well, or the restaurant did. There's a movie coming out on Marty.
What?
Really?
Yeah, Marty the movie.
No way.
Marty the movie.
Marty the movie. I'm going to be in it. I talked to the director last night. Yeah. A movie about the great Marty Lurie.
Really?
I'm thinking about hiring a guy and making my own the Krug movie. Maybe I'll be assassinated at the end.
Maybe Cryptic Trader will take you down.
Yeah, I have some executive producer background, so let me know. I can get some
turn myself into a martyr, have myself just, sniped.
I can get
there was a man from the tower. A man from the tower cut Kruger down as he came out of the restaurant.
You get to pick the actor to play you, Larry. Who you getting?
Who's going to play me?
Yeah.
I'd probably, want to pick somebody better.
Cryptic Trader says, yes, I will take him down.
Yes. Somebody told me once I look like Gary Sinise. I'm like, Gary Sinise looks like he hasn't had a nap in like 17 years.
The guy from Forrest Gump.
I'm going like Billy Bean, man. I'm going with Brad Pitt. Just people never. I never met Larry Krueger, but he must have been a handsome man. Brad Pitt played him in the movie. How would you like to be a really good-looking guy in shape and be played by like somebody who's really, really out of shape? Like the Dan Cochemilio movie played by the late John Candy. Moneyball, the guy who plays Paul DiPodesta was pretty in shape, kind of a ripped guy. Was who's the guy who plays DiPodesta, the sidekick? Seth something?
Yeah, what the heck is his name? I know who you're talking about.
He's a big, chubby, fat guy, and DiPodesta was ripped. Or how about this? You're Art Howe. You're a professional athlete.
That's it.
And you get, the late, Jonah Hill, the late Philip Seymour Hoffman, who's no longer with us, of course, R.I.P. But
Great
Art
athlete.
Howe was a great athlete. You're being played by Philip Seymour Hoffman. Come on.
Yeah.
They did a pretty good job casting in that film. Actually, I watched it not too long ago. The guy that played David Justice, spot on. Hattenberg, spot on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Kevin James played Sean Payton in that.
I love that movie too. It's like, and Scott Hatterberg. There's no mention of the miracle Scott Hatterberg in this. They had Mulder, Zito, and Hudson. There's no mention of those guys.
They didn't mention them at all.
It's like having a movie about the '86 Celtics and focusing on Ainge. It's just what are we doing here?
Yeah,
Los, don't tell me.
Bird,
Los, you watched Moneyball a couple of days ago.
I did.
It was just on.
Can't watch Moneyball.
It's an interesting philosophy.
Fair enough. I'll give you that.
For the long term, it's very, very interesting. But for a one or a short series, absolutely not.
Senior softball games is like, Larry, I saw Marty's girlfriend. He's doing all right. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Yeah, maybe the movie will be called The Mosaic.
The Mosaic.
That's what Marty always describes the season as, the Mosaic.
Malkovich to play Dan. What?
John Malkovich. Whoa. That's not a horrible call. A little bit younger of a Malkovich.
Los, you can play Farhan.
I think I'd have Eddie Murphy play me. Who would you guys say? Say we're in this first week of the season? Biggest bright spot, biggest downer. And all factoring in that none of us really thought Yaz was going to be good. So you can't really be like, oh, it's a downer, right? We knew he was not going to be good. So I can't put that as the downer. But what's your biggest bright spot after 1 week, biggest downer?
I'd say the biggest bright spot. I'll leave Hicks for somebody else. Michael Conforto.
Okay.
And the biggest down spot, I would say, is this is kind of a surprise, but I would say, well, nobody's hitting, but I didn't expect anybody to really hit. You know what I mean? So I'm not surprised. But I'll go with Webb as he hasn't looked as a downer. Yeah, he hasn't looked
okay.
Sharp.
I'll go biggest bright spot Soler, just from the standpoint of he gives them a force. This guy, I know he's only hitting 240, but he's got big power. They didn't have this piece last year. this big right-handed powerful force that they can hit in the middle of their lineup. And he, I really think when the weather warms up, he's going to really take off. I would say the biggest negative is Tyler Rogers.
Damn.
I think Tyler Rogers is kind of, he's kind of like the league's got the report on him now.
Yeah.
There's no there anymore. And it just seems like there gotta be some other right-handed reliever that probably gives you more than Tyler Rogers. So I would say Rogers is my negative, Soler is my positive.
My positive, even though it was only one start, I'm going to say Gwynn. I like what he did in Dodger Stadium. I thought he looked pretty good. We'll see what happens. The biggest downer right now, I'm going to say Doval. I mean, even though he got 2 strikeouts to end the inning in the 9th, I mean, I don't know. There's something about him. I don't know what it is. His first outing was horrible, and the second outing exactly wasn't clean. Yeah, so I'll say Doval.
I was going to be nice and give you Hicks, man, but you skipped ahead. But I don't want to take Hicks. That's too easy. I'm going to say Chapman. Like, his glove, seeing it every day, is even better than advertised. Like,
so he's your up. He's your up then.
Yeah, he's my up. Okay. He's. I mean, we know what his bat is not going to play great in this ballpark, but it's going to be solid. But his glove is completely over the charts. Like, I can count on my hand the amount of third baseman I've seen with a better glove than him, and I've watched baseball for a long time. So he's absolutely a force defensively. Downer, I'm kind of with Larry. I was thinking that you heard me say this last week. I just think Rogers, he's predictable. He's very hittable, and his whole thing was he gets right-handers out. Right-handers rake on him. His slider spins, but it doesn't break. It's right out over the middle of the plate, so it's very hittable. And yeah, that's going to be a problem.
I actually think Rogers will have a good year with the defense because he gets a lot of ground balls.
He's not. He's given up a lot of fly balls now.
He is right now, but when he's on
ground balls.
When he's on, he gets the grounders. And I mean, defensively, the Giants look pretty good. I mean, they really do. I mean, I don't see Estrada had some good range today, getting the balls. He throws it quick. He's accurate. I don't really.
He has not gotten the bat going yet, but when he does, I mean, obviously he got the game winner today, but when he gets the bat going, Estrada's a pretty nice little player.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, they really don't have a weak spot. Maybe first base, you might say, is their weakest spot defensively, and maybe left field with Conforto. He's adequate. He's not a liability out there, but he's not a super great fielder. So I would say those are your 2 weakest spots on the field as far as defensively, but they're pretty strong defensively.
I would also throw in as a downer a little bit, like Lamont Wade he's just kind of there. When you think about first baseman and like, oh my God, the first baseman threat at the plate, you don't think Lamont Wade doesn't come to your mind right away. I know he's flexible. I mean, I don't say he doesn't need to be on the roster like I do for Yaz and Slater. I think he's good being able to play outfield and first base, but your everyday starter at first base and potentially a middle of the order guy, no, absolutely not.
And he would be an ideal player if you had a big, strong, right-handed hitting regular first baseman that you wanted to, spell from time to time. Then that's the perfect complement for Wade. Where he gets most of his at-bats in the outfield and gets a few at-bats at first. But yeah, to be the left-handed version, the left-handed hitter who's going to play the majority of the time at first base. I don't know. It's stopgap. It works. It's okay, but it's not like, the one thing about him is he does see a lot of pitches. He does, he's got a good on base. He'll give you a good at bat. He knows the zone, but do you really want Lamont Wade Jr. at taking 70% or 65% of your first base at bats over the course of 162, I would say, like he would have been a perfect guy to complement Rhys Hoskins, and instead they said, you know what, we'll go with Flores instead. And, Flores ain't bad against left-handed pitching, but it's just kind of, it reminds me a lot of the Kapler era.
And when you look at the Giants prospects, I don't see any first baseman. There was hope when they drafted a kid named Logan Wyatt that he was going to be the answer. Legit.
Well, Eldridge, right? Isn't Eldridge there? Isn't he a first baseman?
No. Yeah, Bryce Eldridge. Yep, he's about 3 years away.
Yeah, I mean, but
a ways. That's a long time.
It's a little ways away. They might rush him. There's a need for it for sure.
He's a monster. I will say that. I've seen him take some, we've all watched him. I mean, the guy looks like, maybe in 3 years. I mean, with big hitters and big, they have big strike zones. It's hard to gauge. Can they get through and keep their head above water? But if that kid can, wow, he's a behemoth. He's like 6'6", 6'7", huge swing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you as a Giants fan, you want the Mets to really continue to lose for more than one reason. One, you don't eliminate one team from wild card contention, but two, the further the Mets get into the hole, the stronger the possibility is that they trade Pete Alonso. And you can get Pete Alonso for not a lot of Let me ask you this:
you think so? I think they might have to move the guy we just talked about.
No, when you look, let me show you guys something here. I just pulled up. Bryce Eldridge has a 19 trade value, and
what's a 19 trade
on
value?
baseball trade value? What they give you a number.
Okay.
Pete Alonso is only 11.2 because he's a free agent. Now, if he was signed for, say, the next 2-3 years, it would be 50 plus. And so to give you an example, as you're looking here on the screen, Rainer Arias is at 11.1. That might do it enough, but
what's Eldridge?
Eldridge is, let me go back to him. I'll show you where Eldridge is right here. Let me get back. Okay, page one. Eldridge is okay. So there's your top guys of the Giants. Webb's the 75.8 because he signed for like 5 years, and he's a relatively cheap contract for a quality pitcher. Harrison 34, Matos at 33, Duvall 29, Luciano 23, Bailey, and then Eldridge 19.3. So
Mets call tonight. They say, you know what? We got to get rid of Alonso. Why? He's making everybody look bad. Back to Moneyball. We'll take Eldridge tonight for Alonso. You doing it?
No.
You're not doing that?
No. Because I don't want to give up the future for 1 year. I don't want to do it. Not for 1 year.
Wow. But you're the Giant. But Danny, you're the Giants. You do have lots and lots of money. You could sign Alonso. Let's say you had a reasonable expectation to sign Alonso. Yeah. Let's say you had a conversation with his agent and he said, hey, we're looking for X number of years at X value. And you said, you know what? I would do
it like the Rangers did last year when they traded for Max Scherzer and got him to sign before the trade was done. I would do it. Then if I had a commitment that Alonso, let's say, was signed for 6-7 years at whatever, 30 plus million a year. Yeah,
Bora says Eldridge is going to be special. You know what? Bora, I hear you, but I could literally talk for the next 15 minutes about Giants prospects that were going to be special that weren't. And Pete Alonso is special.
Yeah.
And Pete
He's proven.
Alonso, not only that, Pete Alonso is box office today. What do you guys think, Eric Los? Would you make that deal? Would you bring in Pete Alonso if you thought you could sign him and they wanted straight up Eldridge?
Go ahead, Eric.
Whew. Man, that's tough.
I'm doing it, man. I'm doing it.
Yeah, I know, because he's got so much damn power from that right-hand side.
And there's no risk.
And there is no risk. Oh, the problem is his damn agent, Scott Boras. That's the only thing. Then again, maybe you got Boras, kind of corner. He had a bad offseason this year. So maybe you could get something done. I don't know. Woo!
But I mean, just think.
But it's true. I get what you're saying.
What level is Eldridge at?
Yeah, he's only in San Jose.
Yeah, so how many guys in our lifetime have kicked butt in San Jose and never got 50 miles north to San Francisco?
It's a good point.
Look at it this way. Even if Eldridge became a 30 home run guy, you're still doing fine.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a huge if. Like when I say Eldridge, I think, hey man, there's a shot. But I don't think Barry Bonds, like this guy's gonna be up, this guy's gonna carry the team, because they've had so many guys.
I just do it. The only thing I would say to that is I've seen Eldridge hit, and he is 6'7". He's got a quick bat, and he can smoke it, and he is already showing signs of moving up the chain fast. He's going to start in San Jose, but he will be in Richmond probably within 6 weeks.
I'd be with you if he had already had a year where he tore up AA. If he had torn up the East, the Giants have a team in the Eastern League, right? If he had torn up the Eastern League, which is a tough league to hit in, then I'm with you. Then I would not move Eldridge. I would just wait for Eldridge and not worry about Alonso. But if you could get Alonso today for a guy who's doing it in the Cal League and may do it in the majors, but may never do it in the majors.
Yeah, I'd only do it though if he was coming up with a signed deal. I'm not risking him going to free agency with Boras as his agent. No, I wouldn't do it, because the one thing the Giants have to start doing is developing their own stars, and they've got to find a way. I would love to see Luciano make it, and Matos, and maybe Ramos, and then you get this kid Eldridge, and they got a kid they drafted, Walker Martin, who's a shortstop, who's supposed to be a really great kid from Colorado coming out of high school. He's probably 4 years away. But I want to see the Giants do something like what other teams are doing. How old's Churio? Just turned 20, right? Jackson Holiday's still 19. We're seeing these kids that are coming up and they're having success at 20 years of age. Mm-hmm. When are the Giants going to bring up guys? They used to do it in the 60s.
Giants used to. I was just going to say they used to do that. That's how they built their best teams, was through their farm.
I know, and I want to see that again. And
I'm 50. I'm 54 with 4 children. I wasn't alive when this era you're talking about. This is before my birth. I mean, as far as Bora's concerned, Bora's looking, that's like, going back to, BC or something, it's
BC.
You're right, but you're referencing an era that's so long ago. I don't know.
Yeah.
I understand the desire to have the big prospect, the homegrown guy, but man,
more than one too.
I want to see a crop of them. And speaking of homegrown guys that the Giants did develop, who's a first baseman, Brandon Belt. Are you surprised nobody signed Brandon Belt?
What's he asking for? I wonder.
Probably not a whole lot. Maybe a chicken dinner.
What did he do last year?
He had a good year last year.
He started slow, but he finished pretty strong.
Let me pull up what he did last year because he had a decent year for. I mean, I know he's old and he's slow, but he can DH and he can give you some defense for late innings for at first base. I mean, I got to believe he's better than some of the other guys.
He gets hurt a lot. He gets hurt a lot.
Yeah. Here's what he did.
20-something homers last year.
Yeah, let me see what he did last year. I'm going to pull it up right.
I mean, if you lost Lamont Wade tomorrow for an injury and you're looking for a lefty platoon to go with Flores, maybe he wouldn't be a bad option right there.
There's his stats right there. Let's see. He hit 19 home runs, hit 254,
23 doubles,
858 OPS.
What was the OBA on base?
369. I mean, that's pretty good.
That's very good.
I'm just surprised no one's picked him up. I mean, it's not like you look at some of the Yaz is still in the game, right? I mean, geez. It's like, and for a position that is, I guess it must have something to do with his durability. Maybe that's all I can think of. Because
he's mainly a DH now, though.
Yeah, and he can play some first base.
There are definitely worse players on rosters right now than Brandon.
Yeah, I would think someone could sign him for $5 to $6, $7 million bucks. The
only thing is now it's like it's April 5th. What has the guy done for the last month? Is he been hitting? Has he been working out? Is he on the couch or has he been working out? Because if he's I'm sure
these guys are working out just to stay ready because he wants to play. There was an article that came out, I believe it was today or yesterday in The Athletic about him not playing. I'll have to look that up and see where it was. But he's
a good dude too. He's a great giant, great personality. Yeah. Rap Album Depot says that he had a highest on base percentage or OPS on the Blue Jays last year over Bichette and Vladdy.
Yeah, I just didn't understand it. Because he's always had a great eye, takes a lot of pitches, gets pitchers pitch count up, takes a lot of walks. And
he's not a butcher at first.
No, he never won a Gold Glove, but he could have. He was just in a league with Goldschmidt and a couple of other top first basemen.
Goldschmidt for the most part, yeah.
Yeah.
He works pitchers, he sees pitches.
He's younger
I'm
than
pretty surprised.
He's younger than Crawford too. And Crawford plays a demanding position. So,
MF says, Larry, why does Matos lead the Cactus League in extra base hits and he can't make the roster over Yaz or Slater? I didn't get that. I really do not understand what's going on with Matos. I don't understand the weight gain. I don't understand the way they approach him. It's like they called him up last year and it was like, this guy is part of the future. This year, you'd swear that he was like, some has-been that they have no interest in at all. And it's
the Ramos treatment.
Yeah, it's bizarre. It's like, is this guy not doing something that they want him to do that we're not aware of?
Didn't he do what they asked him to do, which was put on some strength and muscle? He did without losing his athletic ability. So did Meckler, by the way. Meckler was a $155 soaking wet. Me and Dan saw him in spring training. He looked like he's a good 175, 180, a lot of lower body strength. So these guys worked out, put in the work, and they have nothing to show for it.
Yeah, is it possible that they know something more about how he put on that weight and they're afraid?
That's a good point.
I don't think so because I think they get tested in the minor leagues too. I think he's already been tested. You got to be tested, I think, before the season starts, right?
No, I do not know.
Yeah, I
haven't been tested yet, and the season is underway.
Well, we know you're doing PEDs, Larry. But I mean, look at
You don't
Ramos.
you don't get a neck like this by just natural. This, this kind of neck is,
Can you imagine if Giants fans started chanting, "We want Matos" when Yaz came up? Woo! I would love it. You want to make a difference? Start chanting that when he comes up, Giants fans. Hint, hint.
The other thing I noticed today is the Giants have a major, louder sound system, man. It was like a rock concert today.
Yeah, they
That
put
place,
in
that place was rocking. I mean, it was loud.
well, tomorrow night.
Larry, how was the PA announcer?
I wasn't at the game. I was just watching, but but I didn't really notice that much about the PA announcer.
She's the Cal Poly PA announcer. Cal Poly San Luis Obispo.
Another female?
Another
Yes.
female. She's Glenn was there and said everybody in the section that he was in loved her. So she sounded.
I thought she sounded okay, actually, to be honest.
Yeah.
Sounded enthusiastic and polished.
Yeah, her name is. You can pull her up on the. I was following her or looking her up when I found out her name. It's.
Is she full time?
No,
No.
she's auditioning. It's an audition.
So they're still rotating.
Yeah.
So there's still hope that there's going to be that Steele or Shepard of the Yankees or the A's old announcer and just have that deep voice. Right fielder Luis Matos.
Yeah.
How batting?
Hey, I could get it down.
Number 25, designated hitter, Barry Bonds, 25.
Love it. See, that's what we need. I'm sorry, that's what we need.
I get the feeling that in the way today's world works, Bob Shepard literally could be risen from the grave, and they'd be like, not good enough.
Yeah.
Not good enough.
Just get AI to do it, and then you'll be good to go. You ain't got to worry about it.
Yeah, it's
There
coming.
you go.
Just do it.
You're right.
Right?
Save some
Good
money.
call,
Save
Eric.
some money.
Save some money, man. Just get a robot out there.
With a total robotic voice.
Would you like to play a game?
I mean, honestly, how many people really? I mean, everybody had an opinion about Rennell, but at the end of the day, do you really care? I mean, does it impact you at all? I mean, does the PA announcer ever make people go, you know what? It was a horrible game. They played terrible defense. The chemistry's awful. But man, that PA announcer was fantastic. I'm going back next time. Or does anybody really come out and be like, you know what? They're a World Series winning team, but I can't stand the PA person. I'm not going,
Hey,
Right.
No.
hey, honey, I'm hungry. Can you go get me a burger? Hell no. I got to be in my seat when I hear the lineups. Come on. I mean, you're right. I mean, but there are some legendary ones. Harry Carey's another one that just, God, just.
Well,
Was
Harry
he the
Carey
PA
wasn't
guy?
Yeah, he wasn't a PA.
He's
guy.
radio. He's
I
radio.
thought he was PA guy. No.
No. Harry
no.
Carey was.
Oh,
top.
that's because I heard him do the whole seventh inning thing. That's right.
Yeah.
That's what,
Rap
this,
Album Depot says Rennell is Barry Bonds of PA announcers. She mattered.
Oh my God! Come on now,
What
That's
was
our
this?
fan
Who
base.
said what?
rap album, man. Come
Rap
on,
album.
the Barry Bonds of PA announcers.
No.
What does that even mean?
Go listen to the Oakland A's old announcer.
Yes.
Come on.
What was his name?
Roy
Steele?
Steele,
Roy
Roy
Steele.
Steele. Yeah. Yeah. He
the
was
voice
great.
of God.
Oh
Yes.
my God, what a great voice.
Yes.
What a great voice.
Yeah. Yeah. He was something. I remember him. He did everything. Welcome to Oakland, Alameda County Coliseum. Today's ball game
How far back did
between
he go?
your
Did he
Oakland A's and the visiting Baltimore Orioles.
Did he go back?
Do you see Mario down here? Sacrilegious. I hate to see this, but to be honest, I'm kind of getting bored listening to Kruk and Kipe. Love those guys, though. Oh my God.
I have been listening to Kruk and Kite because I get the games on MLB being out of market, and I listen to the other announcers at times for just a cross reference. I got to tell you, they are getting a little stale. I think. I mean, it is. It's just the same.
Father Time is undefeated.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a prime, and everybody's got a twilight. Any way you cut it, those guys are in the twilight. They're great. They're like, they're synonymous with Giants baseball, but I'll say this. I mean, I know he's dry. He's not quite the same, but I love a game with Dave and Javi. I think Javi's really, really bright. He's interesting. Dave's enthusiastic. He's opinionated. He's energized. He's informed. I like listening to those guys. Not that I don't like Kruk and Kipe. I love Kruk and Kipe. I love Kruk and Kipe for, I love Kipe when he gets excited. I love Kruk's, breakdown of umpires and pitchers and stories. But come on, man. If you listen to somebody for 20 years, you know all the stories. You know all the anecdotes.
Right.
You've heard about Johnny Rabb throwing it back to the pitcher. You know about Mackie Sasser's struggles to throw it back. You know what I mean? You've heard a lot of these anecdotes. And so, and what makes them awesome is they're real, but what makes it a little tired is that they're real. So there's only so many you have. Right. Yep. I mean, nothing against those guys. I think everybody loves those guys. But
yeah, I mean, yeah, they're great. I would say that I've noticed a little bit of a difference in this season, more specifically, that, and maybe it's just me because I'm listening to other broadcasters. Kipe doesn't sound as enthusiastic about the game. He seems like he's getting. And then I'd be maybe
he's gone
way
through
off.
A lot, Danny. He's gone through a lot, man.
Yeah, I know he's lost his wife and
lost his wife. He's had, whatever, probably some health problems.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just your body hurts. You don't feel as good. Maybe you're a little crankier.
Yeah, I mean, I love Kipe. Don't get me wrong. I totally.
These guys are,
They should be in the Hall of Fame.
Should be in the Hall of Fame.
Definitely.
They're made men. They're made men with.
They should be in the Ford Frick Hall of Fame. They should go in together. They should go in as a pair. What do you guys think?
Real quick, before you get to that, Dan, real quick. But Rennell crushed it against Steele on social media.
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Well, they had a poll.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess that's what we know now.
All the people that voted were under 30.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
Come
on.
Social media. Come on.
What are we allowed to play anything from Twitter? From we can't do that, can we? With the broadcast, like
no,
I wouldn't. That would sound like that.
Of Roy Steele?
No, not of Steele, but I recorded.
I don't want to see you get demonetized, but more importantly, I don't want to see myself get demonetized.
Real quick, we got.
I'd rather Lowe's pretend he's Roy Steele than
there we go.
Than play Roy Steele and get.
I was going to play Joe
Welcome
Davis.
to the Oakland Coliseum.
Jeff Taylor, are we in Dan's twilight as a YouTuber? That ain't right. That ain't
the
right.
Heck. And he also said Jack Black as Farhan when we were talking about actors. Appreciate it.
Just getting it revved up. Danny's just getting it revved up.
I think the home run call by Joe Davis of the Dodgers the other night on Solaire's blast was. I listened to both him and Kipes, and Kipes gave the same, hi, it's far, it's out of here. And Davis was like, oh my goodness, where is this thing going to land? It was
almost left the stadium.
Yeah.
I will say this, though, too. I think, just like baseball is a rhythm, it especially if you're an older person, it probably takes you, let's give the guy 15, 20 games to get into his own broadcast rhythm. Because to me, I think it sounds a little bit like they're just trying to find their rhythm. And, they haven't done it since last September.
Right.
It's a long time to shut it down. These guys only do a couple games in practice.
I don't know when Kipe and Kruk are going to retire, but if and when they do, Hank Greenwald's son, oh my God, talk about flashback. Because I grew up on Hank Greenwald. His son's voice, spot on. Isn't he still doing minor league baseball?
I
He
think
is.
so in Fresno, right?
He's
He
in
is.
Fresno. Okay, that's how you got to pay your dues. But I mean, man, I don't know how good he is, but boy, he sounds a lot like Hank, and Hank was really good.
Yeah, no question. He does sound so much like Hank. Hank was so great at telling stories. I don't know if the son is as good a storyteller, but the voice is spot on.
Yeah.
I know sons are supposed to kind of sometimes look like their dad, but when you sound like Tony Gwynn's son,
Oh, Tony
geez,
Gwynn.
his
He's on the
son-
Padres. Is he
Correct.
Tony?
He's on a
Tony
radio.
Jr., right? Tony Jr.?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
spot on his.
No, it sounds exactly like
Oh,
Tony
it's
Gwynn Sr. Yeah, you think when the other day, I didn't realize because I know Chris played and I didn't know that there was a Tony Gwynn Jr. I kind of remembered there was, but when I was listening to the Padres and he said something, the other announcer said, "Yeah, good point, Tony." And I thought, did he mess up and call Chris Tony? Like, and then I realized it's Tony Gwynn Jr. Oh my goodness. He certainly took on his namesake too.
there's
Tony Gwynn had such a unique voice.
Yeah.
I mean, and he had he was a special guy. Sometimes when I think about the interview that I did with him, I think, wow, this guy really, he understood that he wasn't just a Hall of Fame hitter. He was a true ambassador for baseball, and he wanted, the rest of us to love baseball the way he loved it. Special guy, man.
The hand-eye
Special guy.
coordination for a guy that, especially in his later years, was not exactly in the best of shape. But the hand-eye coordination was like something I've never seen. I would go to Candlestick early to watch him hit batting practice.
Did you ever see the interview where he's sitting there with Ted Williams and Ted Williams is quizzing him?
Yeah. That was a great
and
clip.
he's like, he's asking him, is it this or is it that? And Tony's like, well, for me, it's this. He's like, for me too. And Ted
and Tony's
Williams.
like,
and it was,
I got it right.
I got it right.
That was
And this
great.
is, Tony Gwynn, who played in San Diego, and Ted Williams, who's from San Diego. And it was like Tony Gwynn, he's one of the greatest hitters that ever lived. And he's like, it's like he's being quizzed by a teacher, and it's like he's just deathly afraid to get the wrong answer. I mean, it was amazing. It was amazing
classic
to watch. Amazing.
Yeah, that's a great clip.
Tony was just something amazing. The guy never hardly struck out. Do you know what the most he ever struck out was in his career? Look at this. The highest strikeout he ever had in one season
It's 40.
is I'm seeing 40 right here.
That's it.
Go
40.
look at DiMaggio.
Same. Yeah.
DiMaggio had crazy
look at
those strikeout totals.
Look at his 1997 year, guys. He's 37 years old. Look at his 97 year. What he put up.
372.
Hold on.
372. Look at his RBIs.
97.
97. Look at his RBIs with his batting average. Jesus. That's when RBIs actually meant something. When you didn't have to hit home runs to get RBIs. When you actually knew how to get a base hit.
What's his career stolen base? What's that number down there?
Stolen base is
that 300 or
319.
319 steals for a guy with a boiler.
Yeah. Hey, Dan, did he steal 56 bases one year? Scroll up.
Let me see here. Stolen bases.
I know.
No.
Yes.
Wow.
1987, right there.
370. What a monster.
Could you imagine if you had a player on your team that stole 50 and hit 370?
Larry, you know what's sad? You know what's so sad? I always tell the guys this. If Tony Gwynn was alive today on a team, even with that batting average, even with that on-base percentage, he wouldn't get 40 million a year because you got to hit 40 homers to get 40 million a year. It seems like homers has just become so powerful in getting a big contract. and batting average is just kind of pushed down.
Look
That's
at
why
Cliff
Yaz
Martin-
is. That's why Yaz is in the
Arias
league.
make? What does Luis Arias make? He's 300 hitter every year. What's he make? 10 million?
Who?
Arias, the second baseman for the Marlins. Luis.
Oh,
The batting champ.
Arise.
Arias.
Rise.
Yeah.
350.
Cliff Martinez says Yaz will surpass Gwynn's highest strikeout total by the middle of May.
Good call.
Hey.
Hopefully he won't, because that means he plays a lot.
Yeah.
They used to argue back in the day who was a better hitter between Boggs and Gwynn. And I was always in on those debates, and I always took
Oh. Well, and it was a great debate, too.
Yeah.
You know what was the most entertaining thing is watching Wade Boggs take a called third. He would literally stand there and explain to the ump why he made a mistake and how, he'd be like, well, you thought it was here, but it was really there. And, it was amazing. Those guys were crazy. Wade
There's
Boggs.
another guy that we haven't talked about that was supposed to be, Will Clark's really high on this kid. He's been injured the last couple years. He hasn't really been able to play a whole lot, but he's a guy that he's got 4, maybe 5 tools. He's got speed. He's
5
got
tools,
power.
really?
He's got speed, power, and he's got a good arm. What are the 5 tools?
Arm, average, power, speed, defense, right?
Yeah, he has those. He's shown those when he was at high A. He quickly advanced to Richmond, and then he was doing well there, and then he got hurt. But 2 years ago, not last season, the season before, 22 season, he was flying through the minors, and they were talking like a fast track to the majors. And he was invited to camp last year to spring training, but not this year. So something's kind of happened where they've soured on him a little bit. Maybe it's his health. Like to see what he can do because he's a little older. He's already like 26, I believe.
Yeah, he is.
So it's kind of another guy, who's starting in Double-A this year? Hunter Bishop.
Oh.
Yeah, Hunter Bishop.
Hunter Bishop is healthy now and is starting in Double-A. That's a guy that if he could break through, that guy has talent. And he's probably 25-ish now. So he's kind of near his make or break, I would say, get through. But if Hunter Bishop has a breakthrough and can find his game, that would be a huge boost to the Giants, whether he plays for the Giants or becomes trade potential.
Yeah.
That's Farhan's first draft pick.
Yeah, he was the number 10 pick out of Arizona State.
I mean, he's super athletic.
If he passes Matos on the depth chart, then what I said about 45 minutes ago.
Oh yeah,
spot on.
Yeah.
He's an athlete. He's got bat speed, and he's comes from an athletic family. So it's not like it's totally crazy that a guy like that could find his way.
Yeah,
more the better.
Yeah, the Giants need to really have the guys. I mean, we're seeing it all over baseball. We're seeing it in Pittsburgh. We're seeing it in Cincinnati, Baltimore, Milwaukee. The Cubs have a great farm system. You're seeing guys that are coming up that are highly rated that have been playing, travel ball since. What does travel ball start now? About 10?
Yeah.
It's pretty young, I think.
Yeah. So these guys are coming up and the kids that are really playing are starting to be ready to play the game at a major league level in their early 20s. And yet the Giants haven't capitalized on one of those. And yet almost every team you can go down the list. I mean, today's game, Jackson Merrill's 20. He's starting center fielder.
And he came up as a shortstop, and he's in their center field. Yeah.
Yeah. The kid that was traded from San Diego a few years ago for the Juan Soto deal, he's CJ Abrams, Mackenzie Gore. All these guys are being developed and coming up. James Woods, there's another guy in that trade from. All these guys are ready to play.
I mean, doesn't it make common sense that if you've invested in a player, you've drafted him, give him a signing bonus, you send him going through single A, double A, triple A, he goes through the proper steps to get to the big league level. Don't you think common sense wise, you would have more patience in, we drafted this guy. He's one of us, that we're going to see him through and try to make him succeed, rather than a guy like Yaz, who you just picked up on waivers at 27. He had a couple of good years. Congratulations. He's got a big last name. But where's the common sense on you have more patience for a guy you picked up on waivers than one of your homegrown guys? I don't get it. I don't at all.
Yeah, I don't think it lasts that
and
long.
I wish somebody would ask for on that question.
Well, it is interesting. If Dave Fleming did go on 95.7 The Game and say that the Giants, don't, have a short leash for those guys, then maybe he's right. He's I'll say this about him. He's dialed in. He knows.
Yeah.
I believe Flem.
So if he thinks that those guys don't have a long leash, then they probably don't. I mean, realistically, they shouldn't have a long leash. There's not a lot of money invested in them. You know what I'm saying? There's no real reason they should have a long leash.
Right.
I'm encouraged that Dave said that. If he said that. If he said that, I'm very encouraged, because that means the noise is getting louder. And nothing against Yastrzemski or Slater. They're both good guys. But it's about winning. It's about putting.
Maybe Melvin will have more input in this rather than Kapler did.
Or maybe Buster Posey could.
Because I think Kapler was fine having those guys with no issues. Melvin may have an issue. Well,
Melvin doesn't seem to have a lot of patience, which is good. We saw that with Duvall. Somebody mentioned it. I saw it in the chat today, because Duvall was getting the ball and he wasn't wasting time. He's like getting the ball back and throwing, where he had a couple of pitch violations in his first outing in San Diego. And Melvin said, that's not acceptable.
Did you notice? I don't know if you noticed on the broadcast, Melvin was calling some pitches from the dugout. I noticed that.
Oh, did not.
I saw Bailey looking over there, and Melvin was giving the whole, giving him what pitch to throw.
There's something to be said for a catcher that was, a manager who was a former big league catcher.
Yep.
Yeah, no doubt. Larry, when the Giants hired Melvin, were you ecstatic at that hire, or did you think maybe they could have went for Stephen Vogt?
I mean, I liked Vogt. I do like catchers, though, just period. Yep. And I know Bob Melvin is a solid guy. I just was sitting there wondering, well, if he couldn't connect with all that talent in San Diego, why is he going to connect here? But maybe the personalities didn't mix. I mean, there is a weird vibe about San Diego, isn't there? I mean, they've got some guys that just they put out some vibes that are a little bit like, I don't know, like Tatis seems like a big ego to me. And it seemed like they just.
I'd still take him if he was available.
Oh, he's a great talent. I mean, that's what I'm saying. They couldn't get it. He couldn't get it done there with a lot of talent. So I was like, well, how's he going to get? He's going to get this group to overachieve when that group that he had underachieved. So I kind of doubted. But I mean, we all know Bob Melvin's a good baseball man. The thing that I liked about Melvin, and I said it at the time, was if you go look at his managerial run, every time he's gone anywhere, that first year they've had a good year. He was good year one in San Diego, good year one in Arizona. He's good in the first year. And the Giants needed a turnaround this year. It's not and need a turnaround this year. They can't, it's not like they can just keep sliding in this. They need to win. They need
to make the playoffs.
They need to make the playoffs. They need to excite their fan base. There's a lot of people with doubt. I mean, the thing is kind of teetering right now. So I like the fact that they got a manager who has a track record of coming in and having a good first year.
Hey, Larry, speaking of teetering, real quick,
yeah.
What do you think of the A's playing in Sacramento for the next couple of years?
3.
I
Yeah.
mean, I love it. I love it just from the standpoint of I went to Sac State. I love nighttime weather in Sacramento in the summertime. I think there, there's enough people up there to support it. I don't know if there's enough corporate sponsorship to support it, but I think they're going to go up there for 3 years. The fans are going to fall in love with it. I mean, it's going to be great. I mean, people, there's a lot of great sports fans in Sacramento. It's kind of a Bay Area adjunct kind of market. So
Yeah, it is.
And there's so many people that want to see big time entertainment. You have major league. I mean, think about it. It's Friday night in July 19th in Sacramento. And it's a hot night. And you can go out to Rayleigh Field and watch, Major League Baseball. I mean,
Right.
Sacramento is a great baseball town. They are going to support that thing to the hilt. There's going to be some wonderful baseball played there, and the A's are going to sit there and at the end of the 3 years, are going to be like, what are we doing? Why are we leaving here? Vegas is only marginally better as far as corporate dollars. I mean, it's Sacramento, I think is a natural spot. Why? Because if you're a hardcore A's fan that lives in Walnut Creek, you can get up to, it takes you 40 minutes to get to the Coliseum from Walnut Creek. It's going to take you an hour and 15 minutes to get to Rayleigh Field.
Yep.
Who cares?
Exactly. It's an easy drive right up 80.
It's right off of what is that? The Business 80.
Right. It's right on the,
Right
it's
there.
it's on the water. I mean,
It's a
that's
nice
the other
film.
thing.
A nice film. Was there last year.
It's on the water. It's going to be an intimate location. It's going to be beautiful weather. I'm planning on going up there and going to a couple games and
Sure, against a lot of
there.
other teams too. You see him play the Giants. You could go see him play the Yankees.
Yeah.
You go see the Dodgers. I mean, I
gonna be
think
great.
they're
It's gonna be
going
great.
to draw 1.1 million because they got 14,000 capacity. 81 times, that's going to give you 1.134 million. Look what the A's drew last year at the Coliseum, 832,000. In a 50 plus thousand stadium that looks empty, it sounds hollow. I think there's going to be a lot more excitement in Sacramento.
Oh, it's going to be great.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
Fans are going to love it. The players are going to love playing in front of a packed house in an intimate gathering. It's going to be like spring training games.
That's going to be a bandbox in the summer. That ball's going to be flying out of there.
Ball's going to be flying out.
You can do your draft
100%.
A's on your fantasy team for summer.
I mean,
just
don't draft their
to
pitcher.
have Major League Baseball in town like that, in a great baseball market with terrific nighttime weather, and all the fun. I think Danny's right. It's going to be a little bit of a minor league feel, a little bit of a spring training feel. And I think, it would be, it'd be cool is if they went up there and then, still played, even if they went to Vegas, played, 5-10 series a year up there. That would be cool. Let the Bay Area really kind of touch, it's NorCal. I mean, there's been such a migration of people up if you go look at where houses are, where there's more people living, there's more people living in Sassoon and all those Vacaville and Fairfield and Davis. And these communities have all grown.
They're all coming out here to Elk Grove and Galt and Lodi.
Oh, I mean, the foothills, you're right. Eric, the foothills, there's two sets of foothills, and there's all kinds of people that live up there, more people now than they were 20 years ago. And I just think that people are, the only thing is it's still supporting Fisher, and everybody hates Fisher. So, but I think the Sacramento fan will come out in great number. I mean, look at the way they support the Kings.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a college town.
Hey, we're going to have to get NorCal Sports Network. We're going to have to get the A's logo in there, Eric. We might have to start doing A's next year.
Uh-oh.
A's and Giants post games.
Killing me, man.
Hey, man,
nobody jumps at it. We're
might have to up your pay.
Okay.
Look at that senior who is in the media with CBS, I believe. Sacramento is number 20 media market versus Vegas. You know what doesn't make sense is the A's that Vivek says that Manfred has told him that when they expand to 32 teams, that they want a team in California and that Sacramento would have a good chance. Why not just move the A's to Sacramento and give Vegas the expansion team? Because Vegas will support an expansion team more than they will support an existing franchise. Just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I mean, Vegas is a expansion market. I mean, NFL is a little different. The Raider fans are different than just about any other fans in football.
Yes, they are.
They just, I mean, there's still tons of Raider fans in LA. I was living in Southern California when they moved down there in 82? Somewhere around there.
Oh,
right after they won the Super Bowl.
84. 80,
No, they were there in 83.
They won it, and I think they left in 84.
I think
they left in 82. They left in 82, and they won down there in 83.
Yeah, they won in 83 against the then Redskins.
Right. And with on the blowout.
Yeah, that was the
Marcus Allen had that
reverse run,
yeah.
And then who was the one that caught that?
Jack Squire.
Jack Squire, the linebacker. Yeah. I'm like, what the heck are you doing, Theismann?
Hey fellas, I gotta jump because I gotta do another thing here in a little bit. But
that's right.
Good to wrap with you guys.
Yeah,
awesome.
Larry.
Thanks, Larry.
Hey, all right, take care, Larry.
Later, guys.
See ya.
All right, so we will stay here for everybody who's watching from Larry's channel. If you might be gone, come over to NorCal Sports Network, and you'll catch the same coverage here. The Giants, as we talked about today, recapping a big 3-2 victory behind a solid, very solid pitching performance by newly found, I guess, starting pitcher Jordan Hicks, who's pitched great in the spring, followed up by 2 excellent starts in the regular season. And I got to tell you, Jordan Hicks is looking like their best starting pitcher right now.
Hey, and I'll tell you
right
what,
now.
I tell you what, we always come correct on this show. We pat ourselves on the back when we're right, and we're gonna knock us in the chin a little bit if we're wrong. We all were a little bit hard on Hicks, maybe not being able to go 5 innings consistently. It's only 2 starts.
It's 2 starts though.
It is only 2 starts, but I think what I'm encouraged about is he's just not a 2-pitch pitcher anymore, which you can get away with as a relief pitcher.
Correct.
And now as a starter, he had to get that 3rd pitch, and it's not just thrown in there repertoire. It's a legitimate pitch. So, hey, he might be pretty decent. I don't know.
didn't notice many splitters today, though. It seemed like he threw a lot of slider fastball.
Yeah.
I didn't see a lot of
splitters.
today.
What's amazing about Hicks is he started the game out throwing about 92, 93.
I noticed that.
In the 7th inning, he was throwing 97, 98.
And you know what I noticed too? When he was throwing 92, that lateral movement on a sinker was okay. But when he was throwing at 96 and above, oh my God, did you see how much movement was on that ball, on that sinker?
Yeah.
It was incredible.
I mean, what he's having to do, as a starter, you can't just come out and throw smoke.
Right.
If he goes into the bullpen, there's 2 options the Giants could do to make the team better. One is you can stick him in the 8th inning slot ahead of Duvall, and he becomes the ultimate setup guy. 2, you could trade Duvall and get a Hall or get that missing bat that you need and make Hicks your closer. There's a lot of options. If you put him as your 8th inning guy or closer and he's doing 1 inning, you're talking 103 miles an hour now throwing instead of. I mean, I don't know what it's like if you put him in the 8th inning and he's throwing 103 and then follow that up with Duvall throwing 100, 101, does that get, I guess, different batters because they're not going to face the same batters aren't going to face him. But still, you don't want to, I don't know. There's options. The Giants have, I'll say this about the Giants, and I'll repeat it, and it may change because sports does change as circumstances change.
Mm-hmm.
The beginning of the year, when we made our predictions, I had the Giants just on the outside looking in at the end of the year, not making the playoffs, winning roughly 83 games, falling short. But if they do get in, I'm holding the right to say they will. I will say if they get in the playoffs with a healthy Webb, a healthy Snell, a healthy Ray, and maybe, let's say, a healthy Cobb, they would be a very dangerous team to face in a series because they have the defense. They have, and things are going to change. I'm believing what Ned said the other night last week, that Luciano comes up at some point, whether that's May or June, and he plays the first 6 innings, maybe gets 3 at bats, and Ahmed becomes your late inning defensive guy. And I would be okay with that, just to get Luciano 3 at bats a night, because I want to see that will make the offense. It could make it special. If you get Luciano and Matos's bats in there, now all of a sudden
it's a different lineup, isn't it?
It changes the whole complexion of the entire lineup. Because
maybe they do that in May. Maybe they bring those 2 up in May. You got Matos in right, and you got Luciano at short. Who knows?
We'll see. It would be.
Prove it, though. They're going to have to prove it in AAA. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
The lineup that I put out on X, if they call up these 2 guys, which I've been wanting since the beginning of the year, this is the lineup I have with them in: Lee, Matos, Conforto, Soler, Chapman, Bailey, Luciano, Wade, Estrada. That's a lineup.
In that order, or was that
that order?
You have Estrada batting 9th then?
Yeah.
And
would you swap Bailey? Would you swap Bailey and Estrada?
I kind of like speed. I kind of like speed at the end of the lineup.
I was going to agree. I agree. Yeah.
Right back to Lee. That's why I did it.
You're doing the whole double setup guy, or the double leadoff guy.
So if you notice, I got a lot of left, right, left for no matter who pitches. Again, I'll say it again: Lee, Matos, Conforto, Soler, Chapman, Bailey, Luciano, Wade, and Estrada.
You have Matos too, right?
I have
Yes.
Matos too.
Yeah, that's where I like Matos. I think the guy's he's definitely bulked up, and he's got 15 more pounds of muscle that he had than he had last year. And I'm telling you, when you see him hit the ball, he's got the exit velocity, and he's got more power. He's going to have more staying power for a long season with that extra weight and muscle. Ramos looks good. For the life of me, I agree with Larry. Why wouldn't you just give this guy 3 weeks? Give him 3 weeks is 20 games. That's 80 at bats. You're going to get a better pitcher. I'd even give him 100 at bats. I'd say, you know what?
Go ahead, finish up.
Just 100 at bats, and I personally, I wouldn't even put the pressure on him. I just say, the job's yours. Don't go out and play. Relax.
And I was going to say, Dan, as far as Alonso goes, I'm with you. Like you could, if you commit to Matos and Luciano, and maybe it's a little enthusiastic, optimistic way of thinking, who's to say you're not going to get 40 homers between both of them? I'm not saying each. I'm saying 20 and 20. So you get 40 homers putting those 2 guys in the lineup for about $2 million, and you keep your superstar potential in Etheridge.
Well, how about this? How about you swap out Wade for freaking Alonso in that lineup?
And
Come
keep
on.
See you, Mark.
And keeping
Those two
keeping
guys.
Luciano and Matos. Come on.
and put the look at Eric's thinking
Yeah,
big. I
you
like
see?
it.
What I didn't hear. I was
See?
reading a comment. What'd you say about Matos? Or
If you keep Matos and Luciano, you got them in your lineup, but then you trade for Alonso and you got Alonso replacing Wade. Come on,
Wow.
man.
yeah, you could
Come
become
on, that's-
you could become some
That's a lot.
masters.
That's a hell of a-
I'm not giving up Eldridge though for I'm
What if
not giving up Eldridge, and I don't think you have to give up Eldridge. It's, the numbers don't match on the trade values. Eldridge is more valuable. He's got a 19 and Alonso only has an 11. So you
Yeah,
don't,
but those numbers you got to be. Those are a little bit skewed for the simple fact of record. Free agency. Alonso's
no,
a proven
those numbers
major
are
leaguer.
those numbers
what
are
I'm saying.
built in based on the value. There's
I
no
get it.
value. You don't give away a potential star who's 19 for a guy for 3 months.
I get it, but I also understand
I'm
what
not.
Larry says.
I'm not doing it.
Arroyo, Beatty.
I don't care. I disagree.
mean,
I disagree with both of you. I should have done this to Larry and you. Boom. Hey,
Come on. You couldn't even get it the first time.
I could get it. Boom. There we go. Boom. Boom. You're back in there. No.
You know what's so sad is if the As continues to struggle, and we're talking about how long is it going to take for him to struggle before he's yanked? If he is yanked, you know what they're going to do? Wade's going to go to right. Flores is going to go to first.
Oh, you know what? I hope
Do you know how sad that?
if
will
they
be?
do that,
They already did.
Yeah,
when
I
Matos
know.
was with the team earlier.
True.
They went with Wade
they
in right
can't.
field and Flores at first base. And
They can't do that, man.
if they did that to that kid, and I'm Matos's agent, I'm just like going to Farhan. Get me out of here.
you know what I would be
Get outta
doing
here.
to save.
You don't
if
believe
it-
in me? Get me the hell out of here. I'll go
You know what
right-
I would be doing to save face right now? To save face for Yaz, to do the right thing, Yaz, and to Farhan, the organization is. I'm looking strongly for a trade partner. That somebody that wants a fourth or fifth outfielder that's got a great team. If that's Baltimore, if that's Houston, if that's the Dodgers, they don't really need it because they got Outman and so. But give me the Phillies, somebody that Yaz is not a starting player; he is a role player.
Yes, he's a bench player.
Somebody wants that for the Giants. You can't. As a Giants, you can't pay him $8 million to sit on the bench
No.
and soak up. So you got to find a trade partner that solves this, letting him just struggle and then cutting him.
Right.
I'm telling you, there's teams out there. Maybe Arizona would be a team like that. Let me look at here. I'll just take a look at the different teams here.
His trade value is going to be really low. You're not going to get back Carly.
You don't have to get any. You just got to get them out of the building.
But I see what you're saying. Yeah.
The point is, get them out of the building so you don't have to cut them and it looks bad.
Right.
I don't want to see him just. I mean, the guy just had a baby, him and his wife. You hate to just be inhumane and just say goodbye, cut him.
But he
DFA.
does still get paid, doesn't he? If he gets
He
cut?
does get paid. He does get paid. So he's making $8 million. So you can't
won't
feel
be
too
broke.
bad. Hey, look, you can cut me every day of the week if you give me $8 million. I don't care.
Thank you.
You know what? Everybody in the chat can just say I'm the biggest moron that ever existed. And if I'm making $8 million, I'll just sit here and laugh it up. Okay.
Baby and wife are doing fine with you.
Yeah. Just call me every name in the book. Greg Dayton, you can come on this show and just tell me I'm the biggest loser. And as long as I'm collecting $8 million, I'll just say thank you, Greg. I'll just be, yeah, feels good to be a loser. I'm going out tonight, going to have some prime rib and then think I'll take a little flight over to catch a ball game somewhere tomorrow morning. Maybe I'll catch you in 2 games. Maybe I'll catch you somewhere down in Texas, catch a day game, fly back, catch a night game over on the West Coast. Yeah.
If they trade Yaz, they better trade or cut Slater to go with them.
All right, let's put together a trade for Yaz. I can do that right now. Here, give me a team, guys. Give me a team. We'll put together.
What are you going to get for Yaz, though?
Well, let's find a team. Who's great team that needs a 4th or 5th outfielder that would improve?
The Twins.
Phillies.
An outfielder. Phillies.
Phillies. Who's their outfielders?
Cleveland.
Cleveland. Find a team that
they got Castellanos. Who else did they got there in Philly? Marsh, right? Brandon Marsh is out there.
I wouldn't send him to Yankee Stadium because he'd have a hard time with the fans there.
Yeah, Cleveland needs an outfielder. Their lineup is not that great. It's their starting rotation that's pretty good.
Send him to the Red Sox. Got the name.
All right, Red Sox. There we go. Let's send him to the Red Sox. And Yaz he hits those balls high, and they would. Okay, Red Sox, and we're gonna let me find Yaz. Yaz, it doesn't take much to. There's not a. Let me see here. I'm going to find a couple players here. Yaz, I think he's got a surplus of like 5. He'd be on page 2.
I mean, what Cliff Martinez is saying is kind of my thought, that teams have options probably in their farm system that are a lot cheaper,
better,
probably better than Yaz and Slater. That's when people are going to realize like what the rest of the league thinks about Yaz and Slater. For everybody that's defending them, yeah, let him get released and watch the very short line to pick him up. He'll probably be on the A's with Stripling and Wood.
Trade to okay. Value matcher. Let's see. Oh, that's a different one. Okay.
There's rumors that the Marlins are already starting to shop people.
You know what? Forget the trade thing with Yaz. You know why? Because they're not going to get anything back from anybody that I know of that makes any sense. So it's like I don't know what you get for Yaz. He's got a 5.1. You might, but I do think he has value with the right club.
How much do pitching machines go for these days? Could we get 5 of them for Yaz?
Pitching.
In a historical move, the Giants trade Mike Yastrzemski for 5 state-of-the-art 2024, whatever the manufacturer.
Man, when I was a kid, it was 19. Let's see. I was born in 61, so I started the majors in Little League at age 9. So like 1970, 71, right in there, we had this pitching machine that the coach would set up, and it was this old, I mean, I can't even believe it was a pitching machine now. It was like a cage, like a little metal thing, and you had to pull it, and it put the ball in, and sometimes it would shoot straight up over your head, like just like 25 feet over your head. It was just, it just malfunctioned. It wasn't the spinning kind, where they use, and it's just, it was just
the arm going motion.
Yeah, it wasn't one of those. It was just this little stand, and it was like this.
There would be a guy that would have to feed it and put the ball in there, and then the mechanical arm would just go and throw it about 65, 70 miles an hour.
What do you mean, Robert Fleece Dan? What was
you
that?
You better go check good old Spencer Strider, Dan.
Oh, did he get bombed?
He got bombed.
Jeez.
It's okay. My starting pitcher got bombed today too. So
Strider got bombed by.
He got bombed by Arizona.
Let me take a look.
Hey, maybe Carroll had a good game.
I was watching the A's Tigers, and I got Scooble, and he was throwing about 4 or 5
So does Dan.
shutout
Dan's
innings.
got
Eight
Oh, I got
strikeouts.
Scooble too. I was watching that.
And I went into a Zoom meeting thinking, "Oh, that's a win. That's a
Yeah.
quality start. That's about 10 strikeouts." I get out of my Zoom meeting and I see 4-4, and I flip my lid.
I know, me too. I was talking to
I'm
Eric.
like, "You gave up 4 earned runs to a single A team?" Oh, I was pissed. Oh, man. Talk about a mismatch on paper. And what do I always say about the game of baseball? If you were to look at that game on paper, Scooble, one of the nastiest pitchers in all of baseball against the A's, home opener Detroit, that's 7, 8 innings, 11 strikeouts, 4 hits, and somebody named Abraham Toro hit a homer off of Scooble.
I know.
I had to look up who the hell that is. Like, I know Abraham from the Bible, but I didn't know he played baseball too. Oh my God.
What do you think? He called down freaking God? God.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
So I had another rough day. My trades aren't turning out well. Jung Hoo Lee's not doing well either. But that's whatever. As soon as I get Lee, he joined the Offers, and and what did Lee do? He went. Oh, he only went 0 for 3. So
Don't panic, Dan. Don't panic.
everybody's up on the market. No,
I got a guy in my
not
league
worried
that
about
is 0 for 31 right now.
in today's games.
Yeah,
0 for 31.
that will kill your batting average.
Oh gosh.
But being early in the season, it's easily recoverable.
Yeah,
I'm
he's in second place too. He's going to drop to 11th in one day.
Yeah, right.
well, I'm definitely not doing George Jefferson. I'm not moving up yet. I've been slowly heading toward the basement.
Other direction.
But Senior just sent me a trade. I guarantee you he's trying to get Strider. You watch.
He just said it in the chat. He did.
Here it is. Did he say he wanted Strider?
Yep.
Oh, look. It's going to be. Oh, come on, Senior. I thought maybe it might be like Trey Turner. I didn't even that doesn't even deserve a response back. Trying to insult my intelligence. I'm going to call you out. You might get away with this with somebody in the league, but not me.
I picked up Conforto, by the way. Just to.
Did you? Was he available? What? He was available, or you traded for him? No way.
He was available.
Geez, that's good.
Yeah. And it's not just because somebody's hot. Like, I do the eye test.
Yeah.
What's impressing me about Conforto is he's hitting lefties too. Yeah. He is hanging in there with his shoulder on breaking balls with lefties. And I don't know how sustainable it is, but I like what he's doing.
Look at that trade. Look at that. Can you see that?
Barely. It's kind of fuzzy. Yeah, I put Castellanos to the bench. He's hitting about 110.
Yeah. Carlos Rodon for Strider. I mean,
who offered that?
Senior. Senior. You're going to be kicked out of the league as commissioner. This is the NorCal sport. I'm not. You're the commissioner. I am the president of baseball or whatever. Come on. You got to be kidding me. How can I kick out the commissioner? How can I overthrow him? He just got rocked. Yeah, okay. So oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Is Glenn out in the chat?
I haven't seen him.
Trying to take advantage of a rookie. A rookie. That you're close to a timeout here. You're really close to being put in a timeout.
Oh man.
Called me a rookie.
Dan offered me Mitch Haniger for Mookie Betts. I blocked him from making me any offers on the app.
Oh, that was a joke because you turned all my real trades down. No, because you sent me a corny one too, I think, Cliff. So I just sent it back.
Oh man.
It's been an interesting first week of fantasy baseball, that's for sure.
Yeah,
It has been.
it's
There are some really good hitters struggling right now.
Yep.
yeah,
Really good hitters.
Yes.
You got to be
I got
nice.
one of them. I got freaking Julio.
I got about 9 of
He's
them.
notoriously starts off slow, doesn't he? He finishes pretty damn strong.
He started off slow for me last year. I came
Yeah.
really close to trading him, and thank God I didn't.
I mean, you listen to. I look at my lineup on paper and I think, on paper, this team has just about everything. I mean, I got some power, I got batting average, but nobody's doing anything.
Los.
My catchers, Los, are Garver and Diaz, Colorado, Strand and Carson Strand at first, Arias second, third Diaz, shortstop Swanson, corner infielder Drury, middle infielder Story, outfield Carroll, Lee, Langford, and Marte, and then Soto as utility. My pitching staff, I have 3 aces. I have Skubal, Framber Valdez, and Strider. My 4th pitcher is Merrill Kelly. He's number 2 with Arizona. I have fought, and then I have, when they come off the IL, I've got Bradish and Scherzer in the wings.
Los.
And I can't get anything out of him.
Los, this is game 8, right?
Yep.
Listen to this. Back on April 2nd, Dan trades away Nolan Arenado, Jordan Alvarez, and James Outman for Yandy Diaz and Juan Soto. Yeah, hold on. That's not the end.
That's a batting champion for the American League last year, and Juan Soto in Yankee Stadium on a contract year.
Same day, Dan trades away Luis Robert and Nathan Eovaldi for Spencer Strider.
That's horrible.
Hold on. It ain't over, man. It ain't over.
You don't move Strider. Number 1 pitcher in fantasy baseball should be getting like 6 guys back.
Listen, the next day, Dan trades Mike Yastrzemski and Clay Holmes.
Oh, that's right. You did.
For Wyatt Langford and Jung-Hoo Lee. This is everything that Dan did in 2 days.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Glenn traded Langford.
No, this is the game 8, and those big trades have already gone down in this league.
Hey, it takes 2 to tango on a trade. So
unbelievable.
I'm okay with my team. My team will.
Yeah, your team. You just think to hold
my
on.
team will heat up when the weather heats up.
Speaking from experience with trading with Dan, you need to adopt the philosophy of former First Lady Nancy Reagan. Just say no.
Just say no. Yep.
Come on.
Just say no.
Unbelievable, man.
Hey, anybody on my team's available who's in the league wants to make me an offer. Anybody is available.
Boys,
hey, look at this. Someone thinks that we hacked Larry's channel.
Maybe we're still on.
Yeah, we are. I can see it up in the right-hand corner. We're still on with him.
Oh, maybe he's got something else. He left it open.
Maybe.
There we go.
I could go ahead and remove it.
No, just leave it on. Hey, guys, join NorCal Sports Network. Larry and I team up and we collab, and we're doing post-game shows after every Giants game, okay? Larry does a lot of Niners, got the best 49er content in the entire YouTube space, okay? So, and he also does great content with the Warriors and the Giants, but you can only do so much. You can't stretch yourself too thin. Just like we're doing the Giants every day. I don't have the time to do everything with the Giants and then also do Niners and Warriors and do, it all the time. Mm-hmm. So that's why, Larry, if you're on Larry's channel watching, we're all part of a big picture. Okay. So join the NorCal Sports Network if you want to get San Francisco Giants content on a daily basis. We've got some other things lined up. We're going to interview an author of a book on Pete Rose coming up in the next few weeks. It's an excellent book. What was the name of the book, Eric? You got it there?
Yeah, it's called. Let me make sure I get this. I think it's just, hold on. Let me get to the top here.
If you truly love the game of baseball, this is the channel to be on.
It's called Charlie Hustle.
Yep.
The Rise and Fall of Pete Rose and the Last Glory Days of Baseball by Keith O'Brien.
Yep. That book will be, it's a book tour. We're going to be interviewing Keith. We're also hoping to interview a new book coming out on Hank Aaron. And that title of that book is, let me see, I'll pull it up right here.
Should be good.
That one, oops, I got the wrong email open. Hold on here. We also are hoping, well, it's getting worked out. We're working out everything. We're working on a interview with the director of the Baltimore Orioles farm system, who happens to be a very close friend of mine, his son. And so we're working on that. We've got the interview I mentioned with the about Pete Rose.
Yep.
The other one is the interview with, the book is called, the new book called Home Run King. So that one is going to be, hopefully we'll be able to work that out. So this is baseball. We got a lot of baseball stuff, guys. And I love the old stuff. I love getting some of the old stuff.
Syke just mentioned the old stuff. He said Hank, the real home run champion.
Yeah. So
that's a good debate right there.
April 8th.
A lot of opinion about that for sure.
April 8th marks the 50th anniversary. Just a few days away, guys. That would be Monday, right? The 8th? Is Monday the 8th?
Yeah, Monday's the 8th.
Yeah.
Is the 50th anniversary of Hank's 715th record-breaking home run. So I want to get this author on because he talks about some of the things that we can, in the book, Hank's, let's see, let me give you some highlights of that. This is turn these pages to find out what home run Aaron considered his greatest, what pitcher proved his easiest mark, what managers he liked or disliked the most. Even the disappointments are included. His teams moved south from Milwaukee, its inability to establish a dynasty, and his quest to become a manager, general manager, or even commissioner of baseball. This is also a book of personal tragedy, the death of a child, a difficult divorce, and the stunning loss of the 43-year-old brother-in-law who became the first black general manager. Not to mention the deluge of hate mail as it became obvious that he was approaching the most cherished record in sports. Through it all, Henry Louis Aaron kept his composure, preferring to let his bat do the talking. He lacked the notoriety of Willie, Mickey, and the Duke, but he just might have been the best player in baseball history. This is written by a local guy, local writer from Atlanta area. So should be good interview.
There was a very, very strong debate the other day in a baseball group about name your all-time outfield. And I had Bonds in left, Mays in center, and
Clemente.
And I had Hank in
Hank?
right.
You had Hank?
But there was a lot of people that were saying Babe Ruth. There was a lot of people saying Ricky Henderson. So those debates are very, they're good. They're good debates.
Yeah, you could put together.
You can't go wrong with any of the. I mean, Mickey Mantle is absolutely ridiculous. But
is Pete Rose in your starting 9 of all time?
No.
Third base, first base.
Gosh. DH too.
Maybe
DH.
maybe as a bench player, maybe. Hate to say it, but
That's a show that would really get a lot of people going back and forth on our all-time.
You know why I might have to put Pete Rose in there somewhere? Because he's such a catalyst. He hated to lose.
Would you put him over Ricky, though, at DH? If I couldn't fit Ricky in the
Nope.
outfield, there's nobody.
No.
That's what I mean.
Who's going to lead off for you?
Ricky.
Who's second base, though? Could Pete play second?
You want to have Ty Cobb lead off for you?
No. Because Ricky has power and he could still base.
True.
Yeah, I'm putting Ricky.
Cobb had power too, but you remember ballparks are a little bit different back then. So
I don't think Ty. Well,
Ty Cobb.
Cobb would get kicked out of the game because he was racist and he'd start a lot of shit with all the.
Well, we're not going by that. We're not gonna go by that.
And I could just imagine him starting trash on the base.
I don't know if I put. When did Cobb play? What years?
Early 20th century.
Until 1920. Hold on, I'll find it. Hold on.
1912, 19.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, could any of those guys play in the game today?
1905 to 1928.
Could any of those guys
he played during the San Francisco earthquake? My God. 1905 to 1928. Hell of a player. Oh boy, that would be one hell of a debate. Yeah. Where do you find place for Rose? Third base. I'm going
Schmidt
Brett.
Schmidt or Brett, right?
We brought that up last year, and it was a pretty good debate. Like, man.
Come on, this is different eras. You can't even
go. Look at this. Games played appearances are damn near identical. Look at the hits. Home runs, yep, got power over here. Look at the RBIs.
I'm not comparing this era.
I'm still taking Ricky.
Batting average.
I'm not comparing that era.
On base. Slugging.
Exactly. G. Martinez.
Eric, you're becoming analytical.
He slugged.
Look at that. Look at what G. Martinez says. All three of you guys, and he's even including you, Eric.
Come on,
I know
man.
Los and I could play in that era.
You're telling me you would take Ricky Henderson over Ty Cobb?
Yeah.
Every day.
In a heartbeat.
You know what? I'll do this myself. Hold on.
Okay. See ya.
Second base is tough.
Yeah.
Catcher is kind of tough. I mean, if we're just talking offense, I mean, how do you leave Piazza out if it's just pure offense? I mean, what are we talking? Are we talking fantasy team numbers, or are we talking like a winning team, defense and offense?
Who's my first baseman?
Gehrig. God, Gehrig's stats are ridiculous.
I know those guys could, because they would. I know those guys were the best in their time, so they would have been good in this era too, because they had the talent. They would have had the, they would have had the technology of today's. They wouldn't have those boilers that they played with, and their speed. The pitchers would have thrown harder. I mean,
I'd platoon Gehrig and Pujols at first if we're going to do the far-on theory. Who's your catcher, Dan? Johnny Bench?
Johnny Bench.
If he wasn't killed, Thurman Munson was going to be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
He could hit.
I don't know,
He could hit for batting average, too. Had a cannon for an arm.
I'm trying to think who the first baseman. Who was it? I mean, Stretch McCovey was great, but he wouldn't have been the best. I mean, you could move guys around. You could put Ted Williams at first.
But just if we were just staying with traditional, like, first baseman, it's got to be McCovey, Pujols, Gehrig.
How about Wally Pipp? Imagine that.
Don Mattingly from the new era was a really good player, but not to that level. Mattingly's a Hall of Famer, isn't he?
You know what we're gonna do? We are gonna do a show.
Yeah, this is going to be.
We're gonna do a show next. Hold on, let me look. When's the Giants' next off day? Next Thursday. Next Thursday.
The 11th
gives us time to study up. We're gonna do. You know how ESPN does it? We're gonna do our top 100 all time. Forget positions. Just take the top 100 baseball players of all time, and we'll rank them 100 to 1. This will be interesting because I know Eric. He'll have John McGraw. He'll have Tug McGraw.
What?
He'll have,
hey, those old timers knew how to play, man, and they played every day.
Yeah, and it looked like they played wiffle ball in my backyard too. Wait, hold on. Let me.
Did anybody even throw 90 miles an hour in 1908?
Here we go.
I bet they did. I bet they did.
I bet they didn't.
How do you know in 1908? They didn't even have film back then, Dan. You're talking about the age of when did they start filming baseball?
Hey Dan, if we're going, I just thought of it. If we're going all-time catcher, Josh Gibson.
Josh Gibson, yeah.
Nobody raked more than that guy. The legend of Josh Gibson. Holy moly! If he had been able,
I know those guys would have hit. They would be able to play. I know, but a lot of the guys.
I tell you what, I guarantee you, the players today would not be able to hit a spitball. Damn Skippy, they wouldn't be able to hit a spitball.
Did they throw a knuckler in 1908?
Oh, they had some weird stuff going on, man. And that's, it's kind of hard to really, because as you said, even comparing people today to even the 1990s is different. 1990s to the 1950s is different. I mean, it's hard to really.
I mean, if we were to just all of us look up the dominant pitchers in that time that Cobb played, there'd be a few, but I just think there's a lot more talented pitchers that Cobb would have had to face.
And I know the video quality wasn't
so much now, but I mean, we talked about the golden era of baseball is the 60s,
the 50s
and 60s. Like, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but my top 100, there's going to be a lot of guys from the 50s and 60s.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. I know that back in the film, the thing you saw in the 20s and stuff like that, it's not speed film, so you can't really see what the velocity was.
Exactly.
I mean, it looked like a batting practice today. A lot of the pitches you see on the old video, it looks like the home run derby.
It does. Yeah. That's the problem, is because the frame rate, all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have really no idea. I know Walter Train Johnson threw pretty hard.
He threw hard. That dude whipped it. Do you see his arms?
And when did he play? In the 40s?
No, in the early 1900s.
Was it?
Yeah.
What about Cy Young?
Cy Young was a little bit older. He started in the damn 19th century. Here we go. Hold on.
So you got Walter Johnson.
Yeah, we're talking to Mr. Military History Chronicles here, Mr. History buff.
Well, it's a special place in his heart,
I love those guys back then. It's just
who threw 100, senior? Walter Johnson.
Walter Johnson, I'm pretty sure did.
When did he play?
1907 and 1927.
And he threw 100? Okay, I take it back.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just watching the videos.
Cy Young is 1890 to 1911. The thing with Cy Young, more than anything else, is just his damn longevity.
The advantage those hitters had, too, is those pitchers threw 200 pitches and probably would throw 9 innings every time. So they saw them.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't even have hardly bullpens.
Yeah, you didn't have to see a right-hander throwing 95, and then here comes a lefty throwing junket.
Anybody who hits today anywhere near 300 and hits what Mookie Betts does today and what Freddie Freeman does today and what Judge has done and guys like that in this era of did you see the stat I sent you guys the other day? I'll put it up right now. And In fact, I don't think I'll be able to put it up, but I will be able to show it to you on my phone. This was alarming. Let me see if I can.
Grand Admiral, good one. Carl Hubble. Didn't he throw a screwball?
Screwball. Struck out. Who did he strike out? He struck out.
He struck out in the All-Star game 4 straight Hall of Famers.
Yeah, Babe Ruth.
Yeah, Babe Ruth was one.
Was it Luke Gehrig one of them? I think, and I can't remember who.
Check this stat out, guys.
Gehrig is probably my first baseman.
This is
remember that one year I told you about, Eric? 370 with 175 RBI.
Can you guys see that?
Yeah, I see it. What is
Innings
that?
pitched. Innings pitched. Look at the 60s.
Oh yeah.
6.4. I'm reading it backwards. Is that 6.5 in the 70s?
6.5 in the 70s.
Yep.
Okay, look at how it's coming down. So that means starting pitchers are now going 5 1/3 innings last year, and it continues to come down. Maybe it's going to start going back up. I don't know, but look at that. So it's over
1.5 less innings pitched.
And so you're seeing a different pitch. Yeah, you're seeing these different pitchers, and it's so much harder because they're coming in at 98, a lot of them, and Anonymous says, no, Walter Johnson did not throw 100, nor did anyone else back then. Forgetting that the old baseballs did not equate for that velocity.
Come on.
No one had that arm strength. I kind of tend to believe that.
Come on. How do you know? There's no way to know that. There's no way to know that.
When did they start doing the speed gun?
God, probably not to the
60s, 70s?
Maybe.
Yeah.
But all the time was the 80s?
Yeah, there was no way to determine in 1908, 1915 how hard a guy was throwing. I mean, the guys that were hitting could obviously say, damn, that's pretty fast, but they couldn't put a number on it. Yeah, from what I understand, Walter Johnson did throw pretty hard, but we'll never know how hard.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to pick in different eras, but we'll come up with.
It'll be fun.
And yeah, I know who my top. I can tell you, right? I know the. It's going to be hard to get 100. The top 5 is pretty easy.
Want to go 50?
50?
100's tough. 50, 75?
I don't know. I'll have to look I'll look and see what is online. I'm sure there's already a list out there.
I get what Anonymous is saying, but man, it's the problem is there's no scientific. There isn't.
Senior says if you have an arm, you have an arm.
Yeah, I've read what is it called? The Glory of Their Times. They talk about the ball. But when you get a fresh ball and you whip it in there, I'll bet you he hit 100. You get one of those ones that's been used all game and it's lopsided, probably not.
Yeah, they didn't throw out the balls like they do today, man.
No, they kept them in the entire time until that guy got killed.
Who got killed? What happened?
You didn't hear? The guy got killed, got hit in the head with a baseball because he couldn't see it because it was all black and gummy. So after that dime, they started throwing out fresh balls every time.
What was on the field? The guy got hit, or in the fan? In the
field, guy at bat got hit in the head, killed him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What year was that?
Oh gosh, maybe the 19. I think it was it before 1920? It was right around there. Hold on, I'll find out.
Cliff Martinez. Now, see, Cliff knows his stuff. Baseball experts historians say most pitchers in that era threw in the mid 80s. They say Walter topped at 92. There we go. See, Eric.
You don't know,
Eric,
you can't tell me that. You can't tell me that.
What place is Cliff in our league?
First.
Okay, what place are you in?
5th.
All right, I'll listen.
What place are you in?
Like I'm in 13th out of 12.
Come on.
I'll be ahead of you when it's over.
Oh,
a buddy gave me this book last year. This guy quite possibly could be the fastest baseball player to ever play, and he's got the coolest nickname.
There it is, Ray Chapman, 1920. I was right.
Cool Papa Bell. What do you know about Cool Papa Bell?
Guy can run like the Dickens, man.
Dan, you ever heard the name?
Yep.
Yep.
It's a great book.
I read
All
about
right.
him in the Satchel Paige book that I have.
Oh, I
Really?
love reading the old stuff, man. It's
Yeah.
classic.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna start asking Siri here soon.
Satchel Paige was amazing, dude.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Would have loved
Gosh.
to see if Page could play his whole career in MLB, like what kind of stats and numbers he would have put
He
up.
played for the A's for a season.
Can you guys see that?
Kansas City. Yeah, I see it.
Radar guns were not available until some 50 years after Johnson's last game. A Munitions Lab did attempt to clock his fastball and came up with a speed of 91.
What the heck is a munitions lab?
That's for Army stuff.
He was the fastest pitcher of the dead ball era, but probably did not throw anywhere near the 100-mile-an-hour speeds that the top pitchers today throw.
I'm not going to believe Kiara.
What was the fastest pitch in Babe Ruth's era?
How do they know that?
93.8,
How do
thrown
they
by
know that?
Carl Mays.
You know, but throwing 98, 99 to me is like it's a little bit overrated. I mean, Greg
It
Batter
is.
one of the best pitchers ever, and
Because
he
he
just
located.
spotted the ball and he changed speeds. That to me is a great pitcher.
Yep.
So,
True.
but I still think that era didn't have as many good as the 50s did. But yeah, so what if you throw 100 miles an hour? The A's used to have a guy named Billy Cock that was the first guy to kind of throw 100 miles an hour. And he got lit up all the time because his fastball was straight.
Yeah, straight. Yeah. Even I could hit a straight fastball when I know it's going to be straight.
With no movement. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially after you see it over and over and over again.
Right.
You know, like if you go into the batting cage, if you miss the first 4 or 5 because you're trying to get the timing down, then all of a sudden it's like, okay.
Walter Johnson may not be on Dan's top 50 list, but will be on Eric's.
He'll be number 1, according to Eric. Ty Cobb,
man.
Eric's just going to have a 19, 20, and before team.
Yeah.
I mean, Honus Wagner, Ty
I
Cobb,
might.
Cy Young. Yeah.
Cy Young.
Fucking Eric.
Christy Mathewson,
Yeah.
Carl Hubble.
Eric's team will have a jersey with a bunch of tanks on the front.
Oh man, that's great.
A tank with like the explosions, like that explosion thing, like when it fires off, coming right on the front. That's their
Come
fast.
on. You really can't say those guys what they. I don't know.
I will say one old school guy that I think was a very legit hitter, along with Ty Cobb, is Shoeless Joe Jackson. They said that guy was amazing the way he could hit.
Yeah, I mean,
too bad he bet on baseball and was banned.
Real
I
quick,
think, you know,
Martinez.
Or
I
through
tell
the
you
game,
what,
through the World
when
Series.
I watch Ken Burns baseball, once it changes the color, I kind of lose interest.
you know, we'll have a really good say of this argument when we see after 3 seasons in the majors how Jung-Hoo Lee is doing.
Mm-hmm.
If he's not hitting 300 by year 3, then you got to say these players would not have done as well in the era that, you know, Eric's still living in.
What do you think about having Ned on for that show?
Top 100?
Maybe.
Yeah, he's got some. I'm sure he's got a lot.
Yeah,
of
he's gonna have
his knowledge and his.
Oh, no doubt about it. I mean, he was able to watch some of that baseball in the golden area that you were talking about.
Hey,
there, Los.
Will, Eric would watch baseball in black and white if he could. He watched dots for years. He just watched his first baseball game today.
No, I actually watched the playoffs.
Okay.
All right, I got the ultimate question for you, Eric. Laurel and Hardy or Abbott and Costello?
Ooh, Abbott and Costello. Come on. Abbott and Costello. Who's on third, man? Come on.
Laurel and Hardy are very underrated.
They are underrated.
Los
How about the Three Stooges? He didn't throw the Three Stooges in there.
Dan's gonna laugh at this. There used to be an old pizza place called Shakey's, and
Yes.
And some of them you'd go in the back and they would have an old projector and show old movies, man.
Yes. Shakey's Pizza, man. Used to go there after Friday nights in high school. Everybody used to meet at Shakey's after a football game. You know,
Those good times, man.
I didn't want to show up when I missed the extra point to win the game. Oh, man.
Well,
Eric,
hey,
Eric, if it makes you feel better, I am a huge Three Stooges fan.
Three
Huge.
Stooges.
How
How about dude, that guy, the old timer back in
That's comedy.
stop motion days, Buster Keaton. You see some of his movies? Holy crap, man! He did all his own stunts too.
Will Martinez says JHL Jung-Hoo Lee jerseys everywhere. Chapman #2 and Soler #3. Interesting.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
interesting. I figured Jung-Hoo Lee would be the best selling because he signed for 4 years. Giants fans are excited for some actual players. I mean, they have.
Charlie Chapman.
I mean, Chapman, Soler. You know, it'll be interesting to see how this is a make or break season for the franchise. It really is. They was never proven to throw games, Los. He had 12 hits in the World Series.
He got bunched in with the other guys and went along with it. You're right. He did.
He took the money, but there's no evidence that says he tried to throw a game.
No, I mean, having 12 hits is kind of hard to argue.
That's not throwing a game, man.
Yeah, but he did take the money, and that's all it took. If he had just said no to the money, he would have been fine.
He would have been.
Well,
Have you seen that movie, Eric? Yet 8 Men Out.
Oh, I love that movie. 8 Men Out was a great movie.
That's right in your era, man.
I kind of like the description of if Kim Burns baseball. They do a pretty good job. A little segment on that. So
you like the book more than the movie.
I like more. I just like more of the factual stuff and not so much the Hollywood version.
Well, you know, Shoeless didn't have to throw the game. He just went up there, got 12 hits. It was just easy to punch that 83-mile-an-hour fastball wherever he wanted to hit it.
What was the name of his bat? What was the name of his bat?
Shoeless Joe's bat? What was the name of it?
Yep.
I don't know. Was it his little friend? What? I don't know. What?
They were naming my bats.
I think he had I don't think they all did, but I think he had a name for the bat, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not looking it up either.
Yes, Senior says, you haven't seen 8 Men Out? Come on, Eric.
No. At least I didn't watch Moneyball. Harold Lloyd is better than Keaton. Okay, thanks, Anonymous. I'm going to have to check that out. Harold Lloyd. All right.
Your homework tonight is to watch 8 Men Out. It's a good movie. It's a.
Oh, speaking of which, tomorrow's going to be conflicting, man. It's a 6:00 game tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
You know it's on at 4:00, right, Los? Tomorrow.
4:00 tomorrow.
WrestleMania.
WrestleMania is on.
Oh, come on, Eric. Tomorrow's Final Four. We're not
WrestleMania.
No.
Eric,
Greater than Final Four.
Eric's got
No. Tomorrow, 4:00. North Carolina State, Purdue at 3:00, and then at 5:49, Alabama, UConn. Speaking of, right now, there's the women's game is on, and that is. Oh, I got to go watch the Warriors Dallas game. That's on right now at halftime. Okay, good. It's halftime. Warriors are up. Boy, the Warriors are playing good right now, Los.
They're playing great ball. So for Dan, for myself, and for the owner of the 1918 Tanks.
Hold on.
The 1918 Tanks. That's great.
Let's see if he's playing. He's not playing again. Kuminga's not playing again. Oh, yeah, he's not playing tonight. Okay, so if they can pull it off and win.
Look at that. Glenn is close. Glenn is close.
Glenn is close to what?
He's got a half right. The name
Glenn,
of
isn't there somebody named? There's an actress named Glenn Close, isn't there?
Yeah,
Glenn
Michael Douglas.
Hmm.
Glenn
movie.
Close, yeah. Psycho, whatever that was. That what was it? Fatal Attraction.
Fatal Attraction. Woo!
Oh gosh.
Talk about a movie where guys had second thoughts after you watch.
Free
that.
on YouTube, Eric. Look at that. You like
there
the
you
word
go.
free.
What's free
But
on
now
YouTube?
that you have what you have, you can just watch anything you want.
There's a lot of good actors in that movie. Eric, I'm telling you, you'll enjoy it. You will enjoy it. You will enjoy it.
Glenn wins. Yes, it's Black Betsy.
Oh, the name of the bat?
Yep.
Black Betsy. Okay,
you
he
go.
looked it up.
He looked it up.
He looked it up. He looked it up. Hey, Glenn, should I tell? No, I'm not going to embarrass you at that one. I'm not gonna throw you under the bus, Glenn.
Rated Strider. Wow. Oof.
Well, that
All right.
wasn't Strider was traded by Robert.
That was Robert that traded Strider.
Oh, Robert in the chat?
No.
Rated Strider?
Well, sometimes he's in the chat. Sometimes.
Yeah.
He's
Robert Boyd?
Yeah, Robert
Yes.
Boyd.
Oh, man. I'm going to have to get on him about that.
Yeah, he got Evaldi and Luis Robert. Right? Was that the deal? Yeah.
Evaldi and Luis Robert. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, boys. I'm going to go grab dinner and watch
Yeah.
Warriors basketball.
Yeah, me
All right.
too. All right, guys. We're going to end it right here. Nice 2.5 hour stream. We'll be back tomorrow night about 8:45 to 9 o'clock. Giants post game number 9. Okay, game number 9. So Low Steve, Eric, Larry Kruger, Francis Will, No Pal Sports Network. You hit the like button. Everybody that's in the chat out there watching and subscribe. We're moving up. We want this sub. You're needing
Yep.
sports. Please subscribe to the channel. Interactive chat, as you can see. We like to include the chat. But as we grow, did we get all our super chats in right away, Eric?
Yes, we did.
All one of them?
2.
2.
Yeah, all 2 of them.
3.
3? We had 3?
Jeff
Sure.
Taylor twice and bar none one.
Oh, hold on. Let me
Okay.
see. Did I miss one?
Did we miss any? Make sure we.
Oh, yeah, we did. My bad.
Good.
Bar
I'm glad I
none.
mentioned it.
Oh my gosh.
All
San
right.
Francisco just needs to be around 500 at All-Star break plus Ray.
Ooh.
Maybe.
He's that's pretty. If Ray comes back healthy,
Here's the problem. Yeah, when you coming back off Tommy John, I'm not expecting a lot from Ray when he comes back. I'll expect a lot from him next year. This year,
yeah, it'll be interesting. All right, everybody. Yeah, and you never know when you're gonna have a setback. Like Walker Buehler, they kind of thought that he was going to be ready last year in September, and now here we are in April, and he's still not. So,
Dan, if we all make it to Wrigley in June, are we gonna stream from there?
yes, we'll stream. That'll be
Wow.
fun. That'll be fun. All right, guys. Have a great night. Giants win their home opener on a double by Tyro Estrada driving in Matt Chapman as he dives underneath the tag. A wonderful way to end the home opener. 3-2, and we will be back tomorrow night after Giants Padres game 2 of the series, approximately 8:45 to 9 p.m. Until then, everybody have a great night. See ya.